Hey, welcome to Hebrew from Zero, lesson number 1, the Hebrew alphabet. Before we begin, we need to remember 3 things. 1. Hebrew is written from right to left. 2. To indicate the vowels, Hebrew uses both specific letters and a system called nikud. Advanced speakers rarely use nikud. 3. There are 5 letters that are written differently at the end of the word. Pay attention as we go through the letters. So now let's begin. Aleph. It makes the sound of A, E, O, U. For example, Amar, Amar. That means he said. Bet, Bet. It can make the sound of a B or a V. Some people use a dot to indicate if the sound is a B, but advanced speakers rarely use that. Also, this letter will never sound like a V at the beginning of the word. It will always sound like a B when it comes at the beginning of the word. For example, Bacha, Bacha. That means he cried. Or Shavar, Shavar. That means he broke. Gimel. It makes the sound of Ga, Ga. For example, Glida, Glida. That means ice cream. Daled, Daled. It makes the sound of Da. For example, Dag, Dag. It means fish. Hey, Hey. It makes the sound of Ha, like H in English. At the end of a word, the letter is silent. For example, Har, Har. It means mountain. Vav, Vav. It makes the sound of V. Also used as a vowel to indicate O or U. For example, virus, virus. That means, of course, virus. And dove, dove. That means bear. And here it represents the vowel O. Zain, Zain. It makes the sound of Z. For example, Zair, Zair. That means tiny. Chet. It makes the sound of Cha. For example, Chamor. It means donkey. Tet, Tet. Makes the sound of Ta. For example, Tipesh, Tipesh. That means stupid. Yud, Yud. It makes the sound of Ya. Also used as a vowel like I in English. For example, Yad, Yad. That means hand. Shir, Shir. That means song. Here Yud represent vowel I, like in English. Kaf, Kaf. It makes the sound of Ka or Cha. Some people will use a dot to indicate when it's pronounced as a Ka, but most speakers will not do that. Also, at the end of the word, it's written like this. If it comes at the beginning of a word, always sound like K. For example, Kadur, Kadur. That means ball. Nichnas, Nichnas. That means trousers. Derech, Derech. That means road. Lamed, Lamed. To make the sound of La. For example, Lakach, Lakach. That means he took. Mem, Mem. It makes the sound of Ma. At the end of the word, it's written like this. For example, ma, ma, that means what? Shalom, shalom, that means hello. Nun, nun, to make the sound of na. At the end of the word, it's written like this. Na'al, na'al, that means shoes. Ben, ben, that means boy. Samech, samech, to make the sound of sa. For example, sefer, sefer, that means book. Ein, ein, it makes the sound of a deep A, but today most Israeli speakers do it almost like an aleph, like an A. For example, ein, ein, that means I. Pay, pay, it sounds like P or like an F. Some people use a dot to indicate when it sounds like a P, but advanced speaker will never do that. At the end of the word, it's written like this. For example, pau pau, pau pau, that means butterfly. Lifrosh, lifrosh, that means to quit. Kof, kof, that means monkey. Tzadik, tzadik, it makes the sound of T and S combined. Tz. At the end of the word, it's written like this. For example, tzair, tzair, that means young. Lahutz, lahutz, that means to run. Kuf, kuf, to make the sound of ka. For example, kal, kal, that means easy. Resh, resh, it makes the sound of R, but it's different from the English R or the American R, that it's come much more from vibration of the throat. For example, rosh, rosh, that means head. Shin, shin, it makes the sound of sa or sha. Some people put a dot at the left side of the shin to indicate the sound of sa, but advanced speakers rarely use that. For example, se'ar, se'ar, that means hair. Shem, shem, that means name. Taf, taf, to make the sound of T. For example, tapuach, tapuach, that means apple.